It's all so complicated. No wonder I keep getting lost.
Oh, you'll get used to it. Now, I must go and check that they finished Nanny Barlow's rooms.
Seems like a lot of trouble just for a nanny.
Oh, never mind just a nanny, my girl. Nanny Barlow isn't just a nanny. Nanny Barlow is the Duke of Wilton's nanny. No more than 20 minutes, mind.
There's no place like home.
I prefer the Schultz powder, but I suspect we may find His Grace still using the black.
Sorry to interrupt, George.
I think that's everything, Briggs.
Sir?
It's 9 o'clock and the London train arrives at 9:15.
Of course. It's just a pity that Hugh isn't here to start the thing off.
Yes.
It's poor form, really.
Well, I think we can both agree that Hugh is no stranger to poor form.
Really, Constance, sometimes your Yankee cynicism is a little wearing.
Let's not start the party off with a quarrel. Our guests will be arriving soon. Should we go?
Not the green trunk, you silly man.
Do you suppose any of the other house guests were on that train?
See that woman there? She's the Duke of Wilton's old nanny. That must be his boy.
He looks like he'll be a good playmate for you, Tom.
And be careful with that. If there are any breakages, I shall be holding you responsible.
Tom, try not to make a show of yourself, eh?
Thank you, Polly. They're perfect. You may go.
It's beautiful, Miss Isabel. Oh, I don't know what to say.
Aunt, are you feeling any better?
I'm sorry, my dear. I'm retiring to bed. I'm afraid it means I'm unlikely to accompany you to the Wakeleys' lunch party tomorrow.
Of course. You go and lie down and I'll get Polly to bring you some tea. Really is too bad. A lunch invitation, no chaperone, and it's nearly the end of the season. Tell me, what do you think of Captain Mason?
Handsome.
You think so?
Charming.
Yes.
And some say he's been seen with Mrs. St. John in circumstances that aren't perfectly proper.
Hannah, I would have thought servants gossip beneath you. What kind of circumstances? In what way not proper?
I've brought young Florrie Smith, miss.
Good. Send her in, would you? How very timely. Nanny Randall, this is Florrie Smith, your new nursery maid.
Nursery maid?
We don't need a new nursery maid, do we, Nanny?
Oh, Bertie, but I think you do. Sometimes Nanny is so preoccupied with you and the baby that conversation becomes almost impossible. Come in, Florrie. This is Nanny Randall. Now, you must do absolutely everything she tells you. Understood?
Morning, Mum.
And what about this trunk?
No, that's got all Tom's things in it.
Oh, I wish you could get the afternoon off, Matty. Meet my mum and dad. Oh, and there's so many things I could show you.
Afternoon off? You're joking. I should have asked the footman to take it straight into his room. Oh, well. We could carry it together. Lydia!
There's a grand pond on the other side of the farm. Really quiet. Where you can have a swim and no one will see you. And there's the apple orchards.
Uh-huh.
And a wood where you get more conkers than anywhere else in the country.
What on earth earth are you doing?
Oh, sorry. We was just carrying it.
Well, be quick about it. Nanny Barlow's coming up the stairs. Oh. Nanny Barlow, welcome to Causton Hall once again.
Nanny Collins? Are those children wearing their outdoor shoes? In the day nursery while wearing outdoor shoes?
Do come this way, Nanny Barlow. I've got them to light a fire in your room.
Nanny Wickham. Nanny Weston.
It's good to get out of London.
Isn't it?
I haven't seen him in years, let alone the past few weeks.
Well, if you do see him...
I'll run him round to Bow Street myself. He nicked my purse when he left. You're not the only ones want to get their hands on Ned.
Don't worry. We'll find him eventually.
Hey! Watch it, girl.
You finished dusting? Get downstairs and start boiling water. I want the half tiles in the night nursery scrubbed.
Yes, Miss McCluskey.
Well, the cat's away, eh?
That particular mouse needs no encouragement to play, least of all from you.
Oh, come on, Mum. It's one a few times. We can just relax.
Relax? I've just had the police round again.
What'd you say?
Exactly what I said last time. But this can't go on forever. I've got the police on the back doorstep, and that goes away in the country knowing everything about you.
She don't know everything.
Enough to go running to the law if she's a mind.
She won't.
I can't believe you went and told her, Ned.
Why'd you keep going on about her? She's not here. She's hundreds of miles away in some swank country house worrying about whether the kids have got clean 80s. She's not thinking about you. Or me. Or anything got to do with what's gone on here. She's not even... Oh, forget it.
I noticed that baby Ivo gnaws in his fists when he's hungry, Nanny Collins. I find tying the hands to the sides of the chair soon stops that sort of thing.
He's kicking me! Tom, feet still. It's not me, it's him. No, it's not.
Lord Louis does not kick, and tattletales generally discover that God finds ways to punish them.
Tell, tit. Nanny! Lord Louis, I think it would be better if you kept your feet and your teas into yourself.
Nanny Wickham?
I thank you to keep your nose out, young lady.
I don't think Nanny Wickham meant anything by it. Now, shall we all have a tea cake?
Lord Louis is not permitted tea cakes. Not in the nursery, at any rate. Only in the drawing room at the invitation of Lady Wilton. Come along, Louis. Time for your bath.
Thank you for a delightful tea, Nanny Collins.
You see, the boy bears no grudge. Nobility will out, I always say.
The matter is decided. Help is needed in the nursery, and I have provided it. Now, which dress do you think?
This one. It has the prettiest neckline.
Yes, but Aunt Effie ordered it made for me without knowing anything about my size. It never really fitted. You'd look glorious in it.
It's beautiful.
It goes absolutely with your eyes. It's your day off tomorrow, isn't it? Were you planning anything?
I just to visit a friend.
Another nanny?
No, just someone in Limehouse.
Someone? Don't tell me you have an admirer.
No, nothing like that, just a friend.
This one, I think. It makes my waist look smaller. And this friend, you'd made definite arrangements?
Well, I've sent a note saying I'm coming, if I can get the day off. Why?
No reason.
But of course they didn't read, so the whole enterprise was a waste of time. Virginia quail, red grouse don't belong in Norfolk, do they? King should have known better.
Yeah? Annabelle, I'm planning a game of croquet at the weather hole.
Oh, dear.
I'm not sure it isn't a little late for croquet. Rather too windy at this time of year, perhaps. But certainly, if you are organising it, I shall endeavour to play.
Mrs. St. John, shall I put you down?
Game birds are like foreigners, best on their own turf.
I should be delighted.
Lady Wilton has agreed, and Mrs. Rusbridge, and Mrs. Forshaw.
Are you expecting any late arrivals?
I believe Hugh is expected at some point, and one other.
Grand chap, young Hugh. Always livens up a gathering.
Yes, I'm always saying that if Louis turns out to be half the young man Hugh has become, I shall be delighted.
Indeed. And your son, Mrs. St. John, Tom, a fine-looking little chap. How old is he?
He's almost 8.
How's his aim? Louis bagged some quite impressive numbers last season. Quite a keen little shot. Is he coming tomorrow, your boy?
Most definitely. He's looking forward to it immensely. It'll be his first shoot.
Good heavens. First shoot, and nearly 8. Ah!
And now I think we should leave the men to their boring talk of guns and races of birds. Shall we? Oh, by all means, Father, and tell them the ladies are retiring now. A late arrival. Ladies? Yes.
Fancy a small wager on tomorrow's outcome. George here to bag at least 100 more than anyone else.
Pay no attention, St. John. He knows perfectly well that there'll be some far finer shots amongst us tomorrow.
Good evening, Father.
Hugh.
Uncle. Sorry I'm late. Bit of business in town.
I can see that. Business involved another man's fist, did it?
Ah, yes, but you should see the other chap.
Bit of a misunderstanding over a member of the fairer sex, isn't that right, Hugh?
You could say that.
Still, as long as, what is it they say, to the victor the spoils, as long as you were the victor, Hugh.
Oh, absolutely, Uncle Percy. Absolutely.
Can't wait till Sunday. See my mum and dad.
Nanny Weston, don't speak with your mouth full, or I shall have to tell Lord Wilton. I'm telling you, one more word, that stuck-up old prune face, and
Did you see Anna before we left London?
Why?
Well, I haven't seen her for ages. Wondered if she got herself a young man.
Of course she hasn't.
There's no need to sound so cross about it. There's nothing wrong with being in love.
There is if you're a nanny. You could lose your position.
I don't expect that to stop many people.
You will fall then.
Nanny Wickham, how absolutely right of you to be so totally correct. Here, stick one of these in your mouth. Might sweeten you up a bit.
You think I'm a sourpuss?
No, not a sourpuss. Just sometimes a little bit too set on the straight and narrow.
Me?
Yes, miss, you. Here, have 2 strawberries. Might make all the difference. Have 3.
Where are you going?
Out. Constance.
Hugh?
Not joining us today?
No, I don't shoot.
I thought all American women could outshoot any Englishman. All that practice with the Redskins.
Right. Keep us sending the beaters up onto the first drive so we can get started.
Ah, there you are.
Really, Tom, is it too much to ask that your eye properly pressed?
Hat boy, hat.
I left it upstairs. Shall I go fetch it?
No time.
Pretty careless with hats altogether, eh, St. John?
Not to worry. Right, forward march.
Yeah, there, young Tom. The beater's coming through the wood. Best sound in the world.
Remember, Tom, listen to your loader. You can often see the birds before you can.
Here they come.
Oh, Miss Isabel, you know what they say about fine feathers.
They also say clothes maketh the man, or in this case, woman.
Well, it takes more than a tea gown to make someone a lady.
Not if they're sharp and clever like you, Hannah. Some people are just naturally ladies. There. Some work with the curling irons, some good jewellery, and you could take tea at the Ritz without question.
Well, just as well I could never afford tea at the Ritz, then.
Ah, but a free lunch. Miss Hannah Randall. No. Miss Honoria Randall of the County Wicklow Randalls, intimate friend of Miss Isabel Hutchinson, attended a luncheon given recently at 46 Grosvenor Square.
No.
Oh, why not? It'd be such fun.
Miss Isabel?
And it would help me enormously. You know how nervous I am about going.
I couldn't.
But you have to. You can't let me down now.
I'm expected at Limehouse.
Is that the only obstacle? You can go and see your friend another day.
Oh, Mrs. B, this come for you. It's from the town hall. We've all got one. No more baby things on the line, then. It's gone, has it? What about the girl?
Gone away, yes.
She got a job where they let her take the baby. Hard to come by, understanding employers.
She was lucky. She got a job up Berkeley Square. It's only my washing now. Got to go.
Here, what about your letter? It's about the drains. Send it yourself.
You can feel this prestige.
And this is Mr. Sidney Chambers, a very good friend of the family. Mr. Chambers is sure to want to ask you where you've been hiding this evening, Miss Randall. And this gentleman, I believe you have met already.
Miss Hutchinson, looking delightful as ever.
Captain Mason, allow me to introduce you to my best and dearest friend, Miss Honoria Randall of the County Wicklow Randalls. Honoria is generally very shy, Captain Mason, but I've persuaded her to make a public appearance just this once. I'm sure her presence at lunch will enliven proceedings, don't you agree?
Miss Randall, I'm enchanted to meet you. Any friend of Miss Hutchinson will find favour with me. Shall we go in?
Miss Randall? I'd be honoured.
Police have been all over Limehouse asking questions, but no one said anything.
So much for friends.
Ned, it was a bare-knuckle fight. The betting was illegal. No one wants to go to prison.
What, and I do?
Am I interrupting something? Fancy some company?
Well, we was having a private conversation, but we finished the business side of things, didn't we, Ned?
Yeah, I ought to be going.
My mate Neil's up at the counter, waiting for you to buy her a drink. And while you're up there, I'll have a gin. And a stout for Ned, was it?
I'm Violet.
Violet. I'm a busy man.
Not so busy you can't stop and have one drink. Unless, of course, there's someone else.
There's no one.
Good. Dan, you'll have a pint.
A delightful lunch, Lady Wakely.
Thank you, Mr. Chambers.
And delightful company.
I think Chambers is paying you a compliment, Miss Randall.
A compliment most sincerely meant.
Am I to understand that Mr. Chambers' compliment to me is equal to the one he's paying Lady Wakely's cook? I don't know if I should be flattered or insulted.
I assure you, Miss Randall, I rate you far superior, even to Lady Wakely's superb syllabub.
In that case, I shall attempt to accept your compliment sweetly. Although I don't think I can measure up to my rival.
I thought I just assured
Your
you.
little subterfuge has been breathtakingly successful.
Mr. Chambers.
Nanny's
I
quite
have
the
yet
toast
to be
of the
assured
day.
of my superiority to the other courses.
Honoria, I was just telling Captain Mason how much we'd enjoyed cows this year.
You were there?
See you, Randy. I thought you said you had to get back.
As if you said it from most time.
I thought Lady Wakely monopolised Captain Mason after lunch. And I hated her pearl choker. Pearls are so common now. Talking of which, perhaps you'd better give me the amber now, just in case.
And you mustn't worry about what happened. It was just a silly accident. At least it's Sunday tomorrow. What's so good about Sunday? Can't go shooting on Sundays. I wish Ned was here. He's a footman, Tom. He has to stay in London.
You sure you got to get back? We could always stay here, make a night of it. I've got a landlord who looks the other way.
No. No, I better get back.
Right then. We'll just have to make haste slowly, as they say.
No, I mean now. I've got to get back now.
Change your tune.
I'm sorry.
Thanks very much.
It's not you. I thought I wanted...
Just go, eh?
Good heavens, what on earth is that? Marjorie, go upstairs and find out what all that screaming is about, will you?
So you're not fond of shooting parties, Lady Amazon Scrivener?
The company may be congenial, but the actual shoot. I would rather follow more gentle pursuits, even if it is a little late for croquet.
And perhaps rather too windy for this time of year.
That's my little gallery of visitors. Trophies, you might call them. Harold Bond, the poet. Do you know him? Rarely takes a bath. And that's Lord Hartington. Mind you, he didn't come for the shooting. He did a lot of mooning about down by the lake. I think he was in love. That's Captain Mason. But of course you know him.
A little.
Marjorie?
Bit of an upset. One of the children playing tricks on Master St. John. Nanny Wickham says to tell you she's sorting it out.
Thank you, Marjorie.
Where's Lydia?
I told you she'll be coming along with her family, won't she?
Can't she sit with us?
She'll have to sit with the people from the hall.
Don't she look well turned out? Oh, Susanna, Rebecca, my Lydia's dress now. Your boots are all muddy.
Oh,
skirt can stand a bit of dirt, Mum. Yeah, Dad.
Oh.
I bought you some tobacco from London.
Thank you.
And a cake from Mum. Baked at the big house by cook. And sweets for the little ones. They must have big cake tins up at the house.
It's all right, Mother. We'll eat Lydia's today and have yours in a week.
Oh, no, Mum. I only meant this as a present. I'd much rather have some of your fruit cake. I used to dream about eating that cake when I was in London.
Don't be daft. This be a proper cake. Look, it's even got cherries. We can all have a great big slice, can't we, children? Cake from the big house.
There you are. Annabelle was looking for you. Why shouldn't you be out there keeping her amused?
I'm afraid my ideas of amusement don't always correspond with your sister's, George. Was there something you wanted?
St. John just told me that he and his wife were married 9 years ago today. Should we acknowledge this at dinner, do you think? A toast, perhaps? No, perhaps not, since he only told me privately.
You're asking me if their marriage is cause for celebration?
Sorry to interrupt your literary pursuits.
I would hardly call 10 minutes in the library on my own the pursuit of literature. And I think you answered your own question, George. No announcement.
Yes, that's what Hugh thought.
I'm not entirely sure that Hugh is the first person I would consult for etiquette. Come in.
I'm afraid it's boring for you, Constance. Shoot, all this masculine company. Some very dull women. I'm very lively, making you bad-tempered.
Mr. Broomfield says to tell you that a gentleman's arrived, your ladyship.
Thank you, Marjorie. Excuse me, George?
My dear.
Well, what an odd question, Aunt.
A husband can't ask his wife what jewels she plans to wear for dinner.
Well, I have no choice. I wore the garnets last night. I'm saving the rubies for the fancy dress. It'll have to be the pearls. Unlike Lady Lampson, Scrivener and the Duchess, I do not have an unending supply of heirlooms to choose from. Why on earth do you ask?
No reason.
Well, why ask the question, then?
Mrs. St. John? St. John?
So I told him. You can't let land lie fallow for 4 years and expect to do nothing to the topsoil before you plant.
Lydia don't want to hear all that, Joe.
No, Mum, but I do. You don't know what it's like in that posh house, no one to talk to.
House full of servants, and she says she's got no one to talk to. What does he have here, my girl, except Janie and the dairy and those awful Bates girls?
Where's Becky gone?
Washing the dishes.
Oh, I'll go and help her then.
You do no such thing. You visit her.
Dad, you were saying about the lower field.
Don't matter.
I hear you've been making apple chutney.
Oh, good crop this year.
How many jars?
30.
30?
I'll go and get you one to take back.
Best let me choose, Joe. I know which is best.
Mind if I smoke?
Lydia!
Lola, are you going back to the house? Hop in.
That's very kind of you, Mr. Fowler.
Walk on. I've just been to the station to collect a vase for his lordship. Sent all the way from London on the train. See that package? It's worth hundreds. Go over a rut in the road and we'll both be out of a job. Pleased to see you, were they, the family?
Yes.
It's difficult when you've moved away. Changed in all sorts of ways, and they've just stayed the same. It's difficult for everyone. When I first moved away, I used to write a long letter home to my mother every month. Just a chat it was, really, about everything and nothing. It meant things weren't so formal when I went home to visit. Not so much ground to cover.
Well, that's all right for them that can write. Or read, come to that.
I could help you with a letter. And I expect there's someone in the village who could read it to your parents.
You could help me. With writing.
Trot on.
I'm sorry you missed the charades, Captain Mason. At one point, we were acting a small scene involving a sea captain.
Hardly the same thing as a guards officer, Aunt.
Absolutely not, Lady Wilton. Sea captains are famously hairy, usually old.
Tellers of salty tales with language to match.
Well, I would certainly have disappointed in the matter of the beard, but the salty tales. There are stories circulating in the mess that are certainly full of flavouring.
In which case, I'd be extremely grateful if you keep them to yourself, Captain Mason.
Lady Lamson's scrivener, I am a model of discretion.
I often wonder if the stories...
Where would we be without discretion, Captain Mason?
The stories that appear in the mess rooms of ships and army barracks are the very same ones we used to tell each other in school, only given a more robust flavouring for older palates.
I thought you weren't coming.
I got held up in London. Victoria, my sweet, this really isn't a good idea.
Harry, I know what you said in London. I understand that it's dangerous, but we can do this. We can find a way.
It's more complicated than that.
I'm telling you, my darling, it isn't complicated at all. People do this all the time.
Do you think no one noticed at dinner? The way you talked to me, the way you were looking?
I don't care who noticed.
No, Victoria, I don't think you understand. This has gone too far. We must stop.
Victoria. I know this weekend hasn't been exactly your idea of a pleasant interlude. And I know things have been difficult lately. But I just wanted to say... Good heavens. Are you all right?
I have a headache, Arnold. It's very late.
I know. I'll come straight to the point. I just wanted to say that after 9 years of marriage, 9 years, Victoria, you are still the only woman I could ever want. And I hope you can accept this little token of my love. Yes, Bruce. 93 diamonds. Because we were married in 93 and I thought diamonds were best. Here, let me help. It's beautiful. Nice against your skin.
Tom? Tom, what's all this? I'm scared, Nanny. I don't want to go shooting. Please don't make me go.
I'm sorry, Tom. There's nothing to be done. Your father insists. Hey, you never know. You may surprise yourself. My old dad always says that courage comes when you least expect it.
I'd have to watch my step. It will be frightfully humiliating if my cousin bags more than me.
Not impossible, Hugh. Mark my words, eh?
And now there's even more competition. I'm told Captain Mason is more than a competent shot with a rifle.
And judging from a few burning glances being fired across the dinner table last night, he's pretty competent at more than just shooting. Ah, Tom, there you are. Understand what's required of you, boy, dear?
Speak up, Tom.
Can't call your tongue, is it?
You. Right, positions, I think.
Never mind. There's a good aim that's required in this game. You don't have to say a word.
Well, get in line, boy.
Father, I can't do this.
Get in line. I will not be made a fool of you, hear me?
Stand by me, Tom. Good man. Fraser. Right, boy, here we go. Look along the barrel. Never fire until the bird is foursquare in view, and be careful of this arm. I've seen a boy break his shoulder from the recoil gun in the wrong position, you see.
Look at the way he's standing, Father. How's he going to be able to swing round when the bird's going around?
Well observed, Louis. Right, boy. Knees bent a little, feet slightly apart and firm. Don't move that arm. You'll get knocked over backwards. Now, remember everything I've said, boy. Look along the barrel. Don't put the left hand too far down. Take aim.
I've given your loader some stronger cartridges. Make the thing go with a real bang. All right?
Father!
You will shoot or you'll get a thrashing. You hear me?
Cowardy, cowardy Custer. Father!
Tom, shut up and shoot!
Cowardy, cowardy Custer! Ah, you idiot! Idiot is gun go!
Just shoot! Mambo!
I don't know, mate. It's just. I hope not.
What have you done?
Mrs. St. John. Yes? I'm afraid there's been an accident, a shooting accident.
No.
Your husband has been wounded.
My husband?
I've summoned the doctor, and the men are carrying him in now.
Oh, no.
I'm terribly sorry. This is a dreadful business.
I should go to...
Mrs. St. John, I think you should know the circumstances. I'm afraid it was your son who shot your husband.
Victoria.
Ah, the doctor.
You should be locked in your room for a week on bread and water, young sir. It's attempted murder. No more, no less. There's a word for it.
Nanny Barlow?
Patricide. A son killing his father. You can go to the gallows.
It was an accident.
Oh, accident, she said. The result of poor upbringing, that's what I say. Somebody stinting in the smacking department. Not enough discipline in the nursery.
Nanny Barlow, from what I've seen of Nanny Wickham, she is an excellent nanny. And discipline in the St. John nursery is more than adequate. Go along, young Tom, off to bed. Nanny will go with you. Thank you, Nanny Wickham. I think he's had quite enough for one day.
I am not accustomed to being contradicted in front of children.
And I am not accustomed to visitors taking charge in my nursery, Nanny Barlow. Master Tom is not the only one who needs reprimanding. This jacket, look. Bloodstains. Just the place a young boy would conceal a dead pheasant. His idea of a little joke. Good day, Nanny Barlow. I'm sure you'll be wanting to have a word with Lord Louis.
It's lovely, Bertie.
Can I show Florrie?
Of course you can.
It's you in the dress that you were wearing when you went out with Cousin Isabel.
You done any pictures of your baby brother, Master Bertie?
Only from before, when he was a sickly baby. I haven't done any pictures of him since he was a new baby.
Bertie, Florrie has to take the tray down to the kitchen. Why don't you go and find a puzzle in the cupboard?
Fowler said you wanted to see me, Father.
Did you supply that boy with cartridges this afternoon?
The St. John lad? Yes, I did. Gave his loader a handful.
Why?
The boy was in a blue funk. Needed waking up. Bit of a jolt.
That's your explanation.
Surely you're not going to blame me for what happened to his father.
Blame? That's a fine word.
Constance.
You hand over dangerous, lethal cartridges to an 8-year-old boy, and the reason you give is that he needed waking up?
Come on, Constance. It was just a joke.
It's not the kind of joke one expects from a gentleman.
Father, tell her she's overreacting.
You may go. I have nothing to add.
I'll get you some warm milk. Not sure you deserve it, mind. I know. I really am bad, aren't I? Why did you do it, Tom? I don't know. It just happened. I didn't mean to, Nanny. It just happened. That's what I thought. It just happened. Doesn't necessarily make you bad, does it? Sometimes bad things happen. And they're not really someone's fault, are they? The someone just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
What's up? Something wrong?
Shh.
What are you doing? Shh. Get off.
Come on, Ned. Listen, let's get fast asleep. It's only the moonlight we're doing.
No, Pringle. I'll know, won't I? Won't be able to live with myself, you silly little...
Ned.
Ivy. You go back to your room now, and we'll forget this ever happened, all right?
I don't want to forget.
Pringle, I said now. Go.
Well, well. It isn't little Nanny.
Good evening, sir.
Aren't you even going to ask me why I'm here?
You can't look for the last of the shoot.
Yes, my face. Nasty, isn't it? Aren't you going to ask me how I did it, Lydia? No, of course not. You already know, don't you?
No, sir.
And in answer to the question that you didn't care to ask, I'm not just here for a couple of days shooting. I've decided to take more of a hand in the running of the estate. Something my father's been on at me to do for a long time. And you know the first thing I'm going to suggest to him?
Sir, I don't think you should.
I'm going to suggest, in the strongest possible terms, mind, that a certain tenant farmer called Weston gets thrown off his farm.
Why? Why would you want to do that?
I'm tired of this conversation. I'm off to bed. I'll be talking to my father. Unless a certain nanny speaks to him first, offers her resignation, makes herself scarce.
Sir,
I've told you I'm tired. Suffice it to say, I know who attacked me and why. Sleep well.